Dear distinguished guests, dear fellow Planeteers, hello to Lisbon and to the world. I'm delighted to address you today at the Planetiers World Gathering, a gathering of dreamers and makers. We need to be both, to lead by example and heal our planet. We are championing new business models, new sustainable solutions, new ways of giving back to nature. In Europe, we call this transformation the European Green Deal. Our goal is to give confidence and to show that a low-carbon future is possible, to give citizens the confidence to change their ways, to give companies the certainty they need to innovate and progress, and of course to look beyond Europe's borders. The European Union is committed to support developing countries in becoming multipliers of green technologies and thus leapfrogging into a sustainable future. Because we believe that we are most convincing and successful in the fight against climate change when we do it in a spirit of innovation and cooperation. Together, this is how we build a more sustainable future for Europe and the world. Now, much has happened in the 3 years since we first announced the European Green Deal. A global pandemic, a vicious war, but our commitment to the green transition has only grown stronger. Today, I would like to focus on 3 lessons we have learned so far in 3 years of European Green Deal. The first lesson is both nature and science are talking to us. We have to listen and we have to stay the course. They're talking not only through devastating droughts and the extreme weather events we're all experiencing. COVID-19 was another warning sign. But when the pandemic first hit, some said, we don't have the resources to fight COVID-19 and climate change at the same time. We need to concentrate all resources on fighting the economic impact of the pandemic. Let's take a break on the European Green Deal. My answer was and is no. The opposite is true. A deadly virus jumped from animals to human beings. And this will happen more frequently if the loss of biodiversity continues. So slowing down our climate action would have been a mistake of historic proportions. So we stayed the course. And by the summer of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, our European Union had agreed to create an unprecedented pandemic recovery fund. We call it Next Generation EU. And we agreed that 40% of its 800 billion euros would go towards climate action and other investments in more sustainability, in renewable energy and new technologies like green hydrogen, cement and steel, or into nature-based solutions like reforestation and greening cities, and into training and empowering citizens with the skills they need to build a circular economy. We decided to turn the crisis into an opportunity to break the distinction between business and sustainability. And we need to keep up the momentum to mend the relationship between people and planet. The second lesson has to do with our dependence on fossil fuels, oil, coal, gas. Russia's war against Ukraine has painfully exposed this dependence. Therefore, the transition towards clean energy is not just good for nature, but also for the strength of our democracies. Because a Europe that has homegrown renewable energy sources is in a much better position to stand up for democratic values and human rights in Ukraine and on the world stage. With Repower EU, we are not just diversifying our energy supply away from Russia and cutting back on consumption, we are accelerating the rollout of renewables, sun, wind, biomass and geothermal. For example, the European Union has proposed a legal obligation to install solar panels on all new buildings. We have doubled our production targets for green hydrogen, for use in energy-intensive sectors. And we are speeding up permits for major projects like offshore wind farms in the Baltic and North Sea. We have come to understand what's good for the planet is also good for peace and security in Europe. But we are only getting started. The road to our destination will face many more obstacles, and that leads me to the third lesson. We need to stick together as a community, as individuals with common values, as Planetiers. In these last 3 years, the European Union has shown that we can hold our green course, even when faced with very difficult decisions. But the change we need is only possible if we act together. And that is something that you know better than anyone else. Each and every one of you leads by example on climate action. Among your ranks are activists who are building a global network to protect everyone's right to clean water. Educators who are teaching democratic values and ecological awareness across Latin America. Acclaimed scientists and academics who have changed the way we think about climate solutions. And entrepreneurs and engineers who are putting these ideas into practice. Inspiring individuals, each with your own story. But we share one message. Our societies can flourish without putting future generations at risk if we choose to listen to nature and lead by example. And I believe our democratic institutions should lead by example too. Every action that we take should be inspired by a simple principle: that we should do no harm to our children's future. That we should leave the world a better place for the next generation. And therefore I have proposed to enshrine solidarity between generations in the fundamental treaties of the European Union, to restore confidence in our future, to promise to new generations that tomorrow will be better than today, to affirm that we are in this together. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for the example you set and for the hope you inspire. The European Union is at your side today and on the road ahead.